starting to rise. The red light goes on and it goes out and the race gets underway, but not for Tom Gadd. He has stalled on the line and he's going to fall right to the back of the field. Everyone does avoid him, thankfully, so Gadd does finally get away. So it's Lee Morgan into the lead of the race, Ben Powney second, Matthew Higginson third, Rob Wellham in fourth, Dan Clues in fifth, and Matthew Booth in sixth as they work their way around the banking for the first time towards Church Corner. It's worked out well for Lee Morgan. He's got quite a big lead over Ben Powney, who you can see has got a few cars behind him. Dan Gore has got off the road there in the number 80 car. He has stopped quite close to the marshal's post, so we'll see what happens with him. And here's Higginson now in the number 83 car, challenging around the outside of Ben Powney, and he can't make that work. That might allow Wellham to go around the outside of him at Rocky's out, but it doesn't. So an even bigger gaggle of cars. There's half a dozen of them there queuing up behind Ben Powney, with Wellham up the inside of Higginson there. They both go wide, but Wellham's got his nose in front as they drop down towards the corkscrew. Booth not too far behind either, but it's Wellham that comes out in front. Higginson just ahead of Booth, who's got a tighter line through the corkscrew. Of course, Booth, one of the championship contenders, so is Wellham, and so too is the driver right at the back of the field at the end of lap one, Tom Gadd.
Still side by side between Higginson and Booth as they went into turn one. Higginson back in front, but when Wellham got past Higginson, there was wheel-to-wheel contact that didn't really cause any problems for the two of them, but a bit of a brush between them. Lee Morgan 2.5 seconds up the road after one lap.
And Gadd came through 14th, so got ahead of Cole as well as also the number 95 car of Matthew Horton before the end of the opening lap. So Gadd has got a lot of work to do. He's 9 seconds behind the race leader. He's about 6.5 seconds behind second place though. So let's see what Tom Gadd can do with this recovery drive. We've seen him recover well before, and there is Ben Powney ahead of Rob Wellham and Matt Higginson, but we note Lee Morgan not in the picture there. We just saw a glimpse of him going through there. He's miles in the lead. It was already 2.5 seconds at the end of the opening lap. I think it's more than that now, and I think Ben Powney may well be a bit of a cork in the bottle.
Well, remember, he's Tom Gadd's teammate, so if he holds everyone back and let Gadd catch everybody, that works well for the Sellers team. But what a drama that was for Tom Gadd, because he was looking right in the prime position, just taking the championship lead earlier on. Started from pole and it all went wrong. Normally we see somebody stall at some point in F1000 weekend. We hadn't had one up till now. Yeah. Didn't perhaps expect it to be the driver from pole. He's 11th. He's passed 3 cars on that lap. So he's absolutely flying along, gaining positions.
And his lap time was only 7/10 off what the race leader Lee Morgan did as well, which, considering he was having to pass slower cars, that's quite impressive. And he's very much in the mix. He's got other cars immediately ahead of him. Meanwhile, Rob Wellham in third place up towards the Rocket Inn complex, and then the Rocket Out corner through the second of those turns. Then this short burst onto Peel, a little bit of a squeeze on the gas, then slowing down through the gears again through Peel, and then they drop down towards the corkscrew.
Powney doing a good job here, isn't he, of keeping Wellham behind him. Wellham knows he doesn't want to get involved in an incident, but and some more points would be quite helpful with the championship being so tight. So they all come down into turn one. They are now 4.5 seconds behind the race leader Lee Morgan, who's just going faster and faster at the head of the field. Gadd got one more position, so he's ahead of Mark Betts now into the top 10, with Booth in 5th and Wellham in 3rd. They turn their way into Church Corner. I wonder if Dan Gore just pulled off, because where he's parked, so kind of suggests that way. So not a good day for the Mattel's team in the Jedis, because they've all, I think, pretty much had problems, except for Higginson, who's here up the inside of Rob Wellham. Wellham doesn't particularly give him much space, so Higginson backs out. These two have already made contact in this race when Wellham went down the inside of Higginson. But Matt Higginson, who's been quick all weekend here at Anglesey, is going to try and get himself back up a position if he can.
Yep, so he's there in 4th spot at the moment, number 83, multiple RGB champion, of course, having his first season in F1000 racing. He's ahead at the moment of the 2016 Sports Specials champion, Matthew Booth, who's also had success before in F1000 as well, and is a championship contender for this season. As things like it's going to be Rob Wellham leading the championship at the end of this race. Gadd at the end of another lap, 4 laps in the book now, is up to 9th position. He's 10.5 seconds behind Lee Morgan. He's less than 6 seconds behind Ben Powney though, and his next target is not too far ahead of him. That's Billy Stiles. They're heading through Church Corner now, as we watch Ben Powney.
He was 1.7 seconds faster than the car in front of him on the last lap, Tom Gadd, so he's going to gain more positions. Big lick of flame out the back of Powney's car, who's doing a good job still to keep these drivers behind him. Ben Powney has had 3 podiums so far this season, and he turns his way through Hill Curve. Murphy Aldridge is hanging in with this group as well, isn't he? As Wellham dips a wheel over the curbs, but don't think that hurt him too much. But yeah, Murphy Aldridge 8th in the championship coming into this race, doing a good job there in 6th position to go with these more experienced drivers ahead of him as they complete 5 laps of racing, where Lee Morgan leads by 5 seconds now over Ben Powney, who's a bit sideways through turn 1. Is that going to give Rob Wellham a chance to attack?
Tom Gadd up to 8th and is 0.8 of a second behind Dan Clues, and he lapped more than a second faster than Clues on the previous lap as well. He's virtually with him in actual fact as they head into Church Corner, so I think Gadd will go 7th on this lap, and then he's going to set about catching this leading group. 9 minutes of the race still to go, so there's still quite a lot of time left in this 15-minute race. Here's 2nd, 3rd and 4th up towards Rocket Inn again. This is lap 6. And you can see there Matthew Booth very much in the race as well.
There's a fire for Eddie Falconer. I think he might have, I don't know if he went down a gear instead of up one, because big burst of flame come out the back of his car, as you can see on the screen now. Yes,
so he's getting out of the car, and there's a marshal rushing to the scene with an extinguisher as well. He might. And I don't know if Eddie Falcon realises the severity of the situation or not.
Well, I think the car had a big spin as it happened, so that's why I wonder either the car seized or the engine seized perhaps in a situation then, because we would be going about over 100 miles per hour at that point.
Gadd's not got past Clues yet, so he's still there in 8th position for the moment. Lee Morgan still leading. He's leading by nearly 6 seconds now in this race over Ben Powney in second. He's done a 1:04.88 during the course of the race, which is a new fastest lap of the weekend, not a lap record, of course, because that was a 1:04.93. But now we're getting the safety car boards coming out and the yellow flags. I'm not surprised by that, with that car needing to be dealt with.
But before they got to yellows yet, yes they have. Higginson was going down the inside of Wellham, but yeah, they got yellows there. So they're contesting the position, aren't they?
Yeah, so I think Higginson had seen the flag. So there is Falkingham. He's out of his car. The marshal's got where there with the extinguisher. The fire truck is also there. I don't think they're going to get to the start line before 2 minutes 10 after go. So I think it's going to be a 2-lap sprint to the finish line. And now Lee Morgan is holding them back behind the safety car. He's controlling the pace as the safety car bustles back to the pit lane. Bit of weaving, keeping heat in the tyres as they go for the restart. So it will be 2 laps that we get. Lee Morgan obviously keen to have as few laps as possible, because now he is under threat in a way that he wasn't before. Now he goes. Now he gets his foot on the gas. Tries to steal a march on Ben Powney. The green flag is ready on the start line, and it waves, and we're back underway at Anglesey with 2 laps to go, and Rob Wellham up the inside of Ben Powney there to take second place away at turn 1, or target, and they're heading now up towards the banking.
That was quite a bold, committed move, but it worked out for him. So Wellham is the one who's gained out of this immediately. So he's into P2. And Powney might lose another place because Matt Higginson's gone down the inside into Church Corner and he's gone through. So this restart's not gone well at all for Ben Powney. And now it's Booth who's fighting back, but he's got a good run uphill in the tow. He's going back past Higginson side by side. Can Booth get down the inside of the pair of them? Not quite. So it's Higginson third, then Powney, then Booth.
Tom Gadd's not got past Dan Clues yet, or at least not when they disappeared up to... No, he's still not got past Dan Clues yet, so I thought he might have done by now. He's only got a lap and a half left to go, and Tom Gadd, there he goes, up the inside of the pale blue car of Dan Clues. Those two side by side now for 7th position, but Clues is contesting it, which he's perfectly entitled to, but Gadd does get him, but he's got a few car lengths to make up on Murphy Aldridge now, before he can get in among that pack, with the last lap board having gone out to Lee Morgan, who leads by 0.8 of a second.
Yep, that's right. So they come through the fastest lap on that lap from Wellham, 1:04.6, which is just a few tenths outside the Richard Mitchum lap record there. So he's really on form in this race. He had a few issues earlier on and still finished second then. So Powney again is the one under pressure. Can Matthew Booth do what Wellham managed earlier on? And Gadd has joined in on the fight as well as they come uphill in towards Rocket, and it's Powney defending. Here comes Gadd up the inside of Aldridge, and he's going to go through into what is 6th position now.
So he's 6th and he's now behind Matthew Booth, his championship rival, but Wellham, the rival of both of them, is too far up the road for them to catch. They've got Powney ahead of both of them now. Gadd is going to try and get past Booth, I think, as they go down into the corkscrew. He dives down the inside into the first part of the corner, but Booth closes the door in his face, so he's not going to get through there. Meanwhile, the checker flag waves, and it's second win of the weekend for Lee Morgan in the Swallow Hill Homes F1000 Championship. Rob Wellham takes 2nd place. He moves into the championship lead. Matthew Higginson 3rd. 4th place goes the way of Ben Powney. 5th to Matthew Booth. 6th to Tom Gadd after stalling on the grid. 7th to Murphy Aldridge. 8th to Dan Clues. So 9th to Billy Stiles and 10th to Sam Satchwell. He did a personal best lap on the last lap of the race. Then Mark Betts, Adam Walker, Paul Butcher, Callus Cole and Matthew Horton, the whole field, of course, because then he had 2 laps after the safety car, separated by just 18 seconds at the end. So if you've done the maths there, Josh, if you confirm that Rob Wellham moves into the championship lead?
Yeah, and that restart worked better for him of anybody, because he gained 3 points with that move, which means he's now 5 ahead of Gadd and Booth, who are equal on points going to Snetterton. So 5 points, the gap between 1st and 2nd in a race is all that can separate the top 3 drivers after 15 races of this championship.